Good morning, happy Wednesday. Yeah, it's even darker today. I think we're supposed to be having like one of these 5-day storm fronts moving in, and I remember they showed it on the Doppler. It's like this consistent line, this huge line of a cloud or clouds or a system moving in, and they're like, oh, see that whole line of rain clouds? Yeah, it's supposed to, move around the earth and your whole state's going to be in the middle of all those clouds, and you're going to get all that precipitation for like 5 days. And so, I live up, elevated area, which is fine, but I do like where I'm driving right now. It's down in the valley, and it is very prone to flooding. So we get too much rain, and it's like these roads flood, and I've got to find alternative routes to work, which might complicate things. It's only happened, I think, once, but it does have the tendency to do that when it really rains. But with snow, it hasn't happened yet. But with rain, it's put me on a detour, I believe, once. So this morning I've been thinking over exactly what, the mindset. It's I'm part of this program that we try to help as many people out to, help them, find themselves, to rediscover what they're passionate about, to earn an income while they're working on their GED, which is something, not many other, I haven't found any tribes that do the same thing, but we do. And they get a year in the program, and the tribe even has a policy that states that if you haven't fulfilled a certain license or academic certification within 6 months, it is at the discretion of the management to let you go. So the tribe has a policy that if you don't have your driver's license, and it requires a driver's license within 6 months, you can be let go. Obviously, if your job is responsibilities to drive and you can't legally drive, you should lose your job. It should be something to kind of push you to say, hey, look, we mean this, do it. It's important. And then also the other part of it is, if you don't have the academic requirements, like a, high school diploma or GED, you have 6 months to get that, and I sit around and I have meetings with people that think that, they talk, just like this. They go, I don't think this person's ever going to get their GED. And I sit there and I'm thinking to myself, these people have been told their entire life exactly what you're telling me right now. You're probably not going to get your GED. They hear this the whole time, and then I come along. I'm an outsider. I'm a non-tribal member, but I am Native American, and it's part of my heritage that I've embraced for most of my life, and I care about it. It's something I'm passionate about. And I come in and I tell them, no, I don't believe that. I believe in you. I believe you can do it. The thing is, you just got your priorities mixed up. You go to work, you get off at 5, you might have to go to an intensive outpatient or group or something like that, that is a requirement for, your outpatient program because you weren't treatment. But you get home at 7 o'clock. From 7 o'clock until midnight or 1 or even 2 o'clock in the morning, you're studying. And if it was me, I would be doing that. I wouldn't be out having fun, enjoying life, this and that, considering, my day a success until I start seeing progress in, my academic achievements. And so our program has, a policy that's a little bit more lenient towards individuals working on their education. And so instead of having all 4 of the GED tests passed in 6 months, we only expect them to have 2. Which is manageable. It's, 1 every 3 months, and especially if you have language arts and social studies as your first 2, those are pretty simple. And even if you start off with low scores, you can improve enough to get those scores high enough to pass those tests. You start reading, you start reading books, you start understanding, how the English language is constructed, sentences are constructed, nouns, verbs, punctuation, all that. You'll get it. It doesn't matter if you have a learning disability. I don't believe in learning disabilities. I believe that, for me, when I was in college, I had to read things like 2 or 3 times. to fully understand, the structure and the meaning of the sentence or the paragraph. I have a learning disability too, but I don't use that as, well, I have a learning disability, so I don't have to do that. It's crap, is what it is. Every person has the ability to do certain things. It might take a little more effort than other people, and that's normal. That's what it is. You're not gonna, pass a test with flying colors the first time. You're gonna struggle a little bit. You're gonna fail here and there, and you'll learn. You're like, oh well, I didn't pass this time, so maybe I need to study a little more. When you study a little bit more, your test score goes up. You still don't pass the test, but you notice that that studying more increases your test score. You take another test again, you study more, the test score goes up, still not passing, but you notice that it's slowly, gradually getting higher and higher and higher, and eventually you will pass. The thing is, there is such a culture of people saying and telling other people, you can't do it. I don't think you can do it. It's, well, you don't, we want you to graduate, but you can still get a job without a GED. We'll still hire you. I mean, what is that? What kind of a message is that passed to everyone when it's like, hey, you got to stay in school to get your GED and your high school diploma, but if you don't get a job, you might be able to get a job without a diploma or a GED. That's okay. We'll hire you. I mean, what kind of a message does that send? It's like a kid yelling and kicking and screaming for a snack at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and you say, no, you can't have it. You didn't eat your dinner. You're not going to get any snacks. And they kick and scream, complain, and eventually one of the parents gives them the candy bar, and now the kid's wired. And that teaches the kid that, oh, okay, so they say one thing, but if I protest and complain and scream, kick and scream long enough, they'll give in to, what I want. So people are like that, They, for the longest time, people tell them you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it, you should do it, and then someone gives in and gives them a chance, or, rewards them for their inability to achieve certain goals and, certifications and achievements in their life, and pretty soon you have a culture that believes that education might be important, but I don't necessarily need it. And, for people who go into entrepreneurship, it's not necessary. Education does not make a person intelligent. It doesn't. It doesn't make them smarter. It doesn't make them more prone to success or anything like that. But what it does do is it teaches a foundation for a lifelong pursuit of learning. And so I believe that once you start learning, college, when I went to college, it didn't teach me about what I majored in. Yeah, it did, but at the same time, it taught me to read things, to argue things, to look into it, theoretically, and kind of break it down into ways to help. It got me to think, reading something, finding flaws in it, posing an argument, and then learning from it, and then creating your own sense of belief. And I believe that that's what you get from college, is you learn how to think, essentially. So you don't necessarily need to have the academic achievements or education in order to succeed in life. Because entrepreneurs, you can create something and understand how the business world works simply by getting your neck out there, failing a few times, and eventually getting something that sticks, and it becomes viral, and pretty soon you have a successful business, and you learn how to adapt to that atmosphere, and you become successful, and you stay successful. That happens. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but the thing is, education itself is extremely important, because if you don't learn how to learn and how to think, what good are you going to be in the job force? So what we try to do is, instead of having, like I said, all 4 GED tests in order to get your GED, we require, instead of all 4 of them within 6 months, we say you only need 2 within 6 months. You need to pass at least 2 in order to stay in the program. So that happens, and then we agree upon that as a policy, and then later down we hear more people saying, you know what, we just can't hold these guys to expect them to pass 2 tests in 6 months. Some of these guys will never get a test. And I'm like, that's a defeatist attitude. That's the same kind of attitude that these guys have been told their entire life, that, that's why they are the way that they are. They've been told their whole life that, that they can't do something, or that they don't have to do something. And so they go, human beings are the only living creatures in existence on the planet that will do the minimum that is expected of them. You know, trees grow to their maximum potential. You know, lions live their life to their maximum potential. You know, they don't skip around, you know, they don't see what they're hunting and then not pursue it and die of starvation. They go after it every single time as fast as they can, as best as they can, and that's how they live. You know, human beings, we pursue the path of least resistance. At least a lot of us do, and we experience life and without much joy or much, you know, or much celebration, because we choose to make easy decisions, which in the end makes our lives more difficult. But you make the difficult decision, you do the difficult things, your life is easy. You know, and so we have these people that, you know, their own tribal members that say, you know what, I don't think that they can do it. You know, there's some people that just aren't going to do it, and I don't believe that. And so I'm trying to light a fire underneath them to say, look, there is an expectation. You know, you're in this program, you get paid to get, you know, to get on the job experience, and we expect you to pass 2 of the 4 tests. And so these guys go home, and, you know, nobody really lights a fire under their bus because they know that they should be working on their GED, but, you know, and we try to encourage them to do that, but we're not going to hold them accountable for not doing what we expect them to do. And I believe that creates a culture that is going downhill, and that will create more people who are not eligible for certain jobs or for a lot of jobs, and that creates a problem. That creates a problem within the society, the community, and, you know, and the culture itself. So what I'm trying to do is hold people accountable. You know, you should be able to pass 2 GED tests within 6 months, whatever subject that is. You've got math, you have science, you have social studies, and you have language arts. You should be able to pass at least 2 of them within 6 months. If that's all that you focus on in 6 months, you should be able to do it. It doesn't matter if you have a learning disability, if you have to study twice or 3 times or 4 times as hard or in as much time as somebody else. Some people just take longer to get certain things. That's part of life, and it's not an excuse for not being able to reach certain goals or to reach certain benchmarks. You should be able to do it. You know, but the thing is, it's just going to take a lot more work. It's going to take, you know, a lot more determination and dedication and sacrifice. And if you can't do that, you know, then you haven't learned what it takes to survive in this world, and what it takes to succeed. And so I come into a culture like this from an outsider's perspective, you know, and I'm not, you know, I struggled financially growing up like a lot of people. I didn't have a lot of things, you know, and so I understand what it's like to come from nothing and to work hard for things. You know, that's something that I was taught, something that I learned from my life experiences. And so people that struggle early in life, I believe, are much more suited for the real world and learning how to learn from their failures than someone who has been given everything their entire life, and then they become so emotionally distraught over their first failure that, you know, they commit suicide, or it just ruins them. You know, people who come from nothing, who struggle in life, can deal with failures and setbacks in life and overcome them in order to become successful. And so that's where I'm from. You know, I've learned how to fail, and, you know, and not meet certain things and come up short a lot of times. I had to learn from it. So coming into a culture like this, it's disheartening to hear other people just say, well, they're just not going to do it. That's a defeatist attitude. And that's the exact same mentality that keeps people down, because I believe people can do it. You know, I believe that people can, you know, overcome years of neglect towards their academics and their education, and they can't overcome it. You know, if you look at people in prison, a lot of them get their GEDs because they spend 23 hours in a jail cell, and during that time they read as much as they can and they start learning things, and you remove all distractions from the outside world, the phones, the Netflixes, the computers, the tablets, and, you know, football games, baseball games, basketball games, and all they have are their thoughts, and they're locked in their cell, and all they have the chance to do is read. They get their education. You know, they realize that it's important and there's not many distractions, and so they find it a lot easier than someone who's in the outside world, who's surrounded by cell phones, surrounded by technology, and all these other distractions that cause people to become distracted from what they're trying to focus their attention on. So just me a little slightly venting. I'm not complaining about it. What I'm saying is that it's an observation about the sort of work environment that I'm in, and the fact that I just don't believe that people just won't do certain things. I believe that people allow people to accept that their own shortcomings. Like, you know what, honey, it's okay if you don't graduate from high school. I still love you. You know, and the thing is, you can still be successful in life if you don't have your education. You know, you need to push your kids. You need to be pushed. Kids need to be pushed. And if you can't push them, someone like me comes along later in life and pushes them. And if the places that I work that try to help individuals out to reach these goals in a benchmark, and to teach them that they need these certain things, they need to sacrifice and to make those decisions, to quit playing around with phones and other time wasters and distractions in order to focus on what's important. And you know, that's where we're at. So it's difficult at times, but you know, when you see someone like I had yesterday who passed her 3rd GED test, and she's got 1 test left before she gets her GED, and you know, her kids look up to her, and she's gonna make it. She has a great attitude, and I believe that she's come a long way, and I believe that she's got a long ways that she will go in life. And I believe that, you know, her mentality and her ability to work hard for what she wants in life has yielded the fruits that she is now enjoying, and she will enjoy. So I just don't accept that. I believe that people can achieve things. They just need to be held accountable, and to understand that it is important, if they don't meet those requirements or those benchmarks, that they will be held accountable for it, and there will be consequences. So that's where I am today. I'm looking forward to more people getting their GED. That's what I want to see. I want to see people succeed. That's all I want. You know, I am not better than anybody else. I just know what it takes in order to work hard to get what you need, and to get what you want in life in order to be successful, and to feel good about yourself, and to be happy. That's what it's all about. And so that's what I'm dealing with today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great Wednesday. And I've gone on 17 minutes. Have a good day.